Still not tall enough.
Every once in a while, you make the wrong turn, go, whoops, don't worry.
It's always there.
And I said, I had to
Auto adjusting. Mess with the thing.
doctors say there's.
It's just the chair still.
Well, we're doing
My chiropractor said it's 50.
Never mind, I think I'm just gonna sit like this.
Every
Hope I
now,
don't fall off the
every
chair.
now and then I'll just grab you and push you forward.
They see me pick up the hammer. Okay, welcome to the council meeting. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have Pastor Karen, if she could step up, please.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we come to you tonight in behalf of the City Council of Lincoln Park, Michigan, and all of its City Council members. First, we ask, Lord, that if we've offended you in thought, word, or deed, if we've offended or done anything even against this city, we ask your forgiveness right now in the name of Jesus, so that our prayers will not be hindered, nor will our blessings. We ask you, Lord, to remember its people as well as its leadership, from the mayor to the police and all of the city council members, its advisors, city workers, and all of their families. We ask you, Lord, that you fill this room with your divine presence in the name of Jesus. Let it be a place of reasoning, good choices, and good sense for the sake of your people. Let those who bring grievance or complaint bring it in a calm, humble, and productive manner. All of this we ask. In Jesus' name we pray. And we pray that we would keep our oath to you as well as to the city, to the state, and to this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Just a few remarks this week. Roll call, please.
Certainly. Councilpersons Bear.
Here.
Dupre. Here. Ross.
Here.
Salcido.
Here.
Zor.
Here.
Tobin.
Here.
And Mayor Higgins.
Here.
Thank you.
Just a few quick comments this weekend. Was very busy. Lincoln Park Days roared on, and did a fabulous job. Exchange Club, I want to give them a big thank you for all that they do. They did an amazing job, a lot of entertainment. A lot of the local groups were able to raise money for their own groups' money, thanks to the Exchange Club. And also some of the vendors came in, made good money. Good crowds, good people. Every year it's like a reunion. You run into people from Lincoln Park to, come back every year, and it's just amazing thing that it turns out. Jason Bear, our Councilman Bear, was there all weekend. Of course, our Councilwoman Maureen was there all weekend. Our Council President all showed up. Everybody was there. Everybody had a good time. Even our Council President even won a stuffed animal for his lovely wife. And our city clerk was also there as well. Showing off her car. Okay.
Did do that.
We also had a grand opening of another new business right here on Fort Park. Barber shop is open right behind CVS. I can highly recommend them. They did a wonderful job straightening that building out, and it is beautiful. And also this weekend, Bethel Assembly started celebrating their 100th year with a concert that I understand was fantabulous. I wasn't unable to be there because there was just so much going on, but I was very proud that we can say that we have a church in town. Now we have two of them that have lasted well over 100 years. So that is amazing. And with that, I am going to turn over to our city clerk, who has a presentation for the Charter Review Committee.
Okay, so this will be pretty short. Just wanted you to know that the Charter Review Committee did start looking at the charter. It's a 100-page document. We went through it line by line, item by item. We are not a charter revision commission, so we can't make recommendations on wholesale changes to where we just adopt, something different, a different document. The only thing that we can do is make suggestions as to things that you as a council may want to put on a ballot for the citizens to vote on. That's the sum total of our responsibility and our authority. So this document is over 100 years old, or almost 100 years old, not over 100, and it's pretty fundamentally sound. Some of the things in it are a little outdated because there are state statutes and federal statutes that override some of the stuff, and we kind of just left that alone for right now because those state and federal statutes do override anything that may be in here, like election law and stuff like that. We pretty much could have suggested that you remove the entire chapter on the election law, but we kind of left it alone and just went with some things that we felt really were improvements that we could make to it. And make this maybe a better thing for you. I'm not going to go through all of them here because we are asking that you schedule a study session before the next meeting to discuss the stuff that we have here when we can do it in depth. But we did recommend that you consider maybe changing the terms of the elected officials from 2 years to 4, and that you maybe stagger the council terms so that 3 people were expiring every 2 years, keep some continuity there. You wouldn't have, 6 new people every 4 years, but maybe just 3 and 3 at a time. There were some suggestions made to perhaps change the office of city clerk and treasurer to appointed positions as opposed to elected. And there are pros and cons to both of those scenarios, and we can get into that at the study session. I don't want to take up a lot of time tonight, but I would like you to read through this and take a look at some of the suggestions that the committee came up with. I think some of them are pretty straightforward. Most of the language in it was written back in the early 1900s, and everything says he shall. The city clerk will, he shall this, he shall that. Mayor as well, they're all male pronouns. And the committee felt very strongly about trying to get something passed where we could make them more gender neutral pronouns, instead of saying the clerk is responsible for this, he shall, maybe they shall, to make it less gender specific. Ed is supposed to be checking with the Attorney General to see if we could do a single charter amendment resolution that would cover all of those pronouns that needed to be changed. So we're still waiting on word back from the Attorney General on that one, but we'll keep you posted on that one. But like I said, there are several things in here that we thought would streamline things and make things easier, and without really getting into wholesale changes on it, because that's not where our authority lied. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Yeah?
Thank you, Your Honor. Carrie, like specifically with the terms, you know, the suggestion of going from 2-year to 4-year. Did anyone look into what our surrounding communities do?
Yeah, so we are one of the few communities that still does 2-year terms. Most of the communities in Wayne County are at 4-year.
And they stagger them too, right?
And there are some, half of them stagger their council
Okay.
and half of them don't. So that one's kind of a
Okay.
coin flip, but the majority of the communities in Wayne County are 4-year terms now.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just through the chair real quick, I know Carrie mentioned this on the agenda because it does refer councilman and councilmen. You would change it to councilperson.
Councilperson.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th. Approve the minutes in the study session for the water replacement on August 12th. Approve accounts and claims payable. Approve the charitable solutions soliciting for the KFC Tootsie Roll fundraiser. Schedule a study session for a charter review. Solicit bids for the water meter replacement program. Attend the training for the police department.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know where my thing is. It's
Okay.
computer issue for folks. Give me 1 second.
Auto dealer. Right there. Okay.
All right. Resolved that that renewal of the annual 2024 used auto dealer be approved at the following locations: Ruby Recycling LLC, 3298 Dix.
I'll move. Support.
Okay, any questions? And we'll call for a vote.
Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Ross?
No.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
No, you're not Councilman Soar. Councilman Soar?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Good. Now, these next two, before he gets to them, I do want to tell you that they now have a past due water bill that was not paid before tonight's meeting. So you guys have an option on these two to either just pull them from the agenda or address them and choose whether you're going to vote yes or no on it. It does say in the special event thing that they have to be in good standing with the city, and we did contact them and make sure that they were aware, and he said he would be in to pay, and we have not gotten payment on these yet, so. The one for the wrestling show, the wrestling show isn't until September 22nd, so we could actually bring this one back on the next agenda. But the one for the, and this one was approved before they had an outstanding water bill. It wasn't past due yet. So we had approved it once before and they wanted to change the date. So that's why that one's back to you.
Are they both?
They're both for the 8th side.
Okay.
The second one was actually approved, but they want to change the date. It's a date change.
Okay.
And it was approved before their water bill went delinquent,
All right.
And our next meeting is,
the 9th.
Through the chair, can I make a comment before we do the resolution, or should I wait till after the resolution?
We should wait till after the resolution. That's the
Okay.
proper way.
Well, let me read the first resolution then. Resolve that special event permit number 9 be approved for the 8-side wrestling show event to be held in the city of Lincoln Park on Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at 4232 Fort Street under the following conditions. Applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with the event from surrounding properties, and alcohol is not permitted.
I'll move with the discussion.
I'll support.
My question is I know that we had discussed at the last meeting about parking on Drillard, and I was wondering if there was a resolution, because the question was if our fire department can get their vehicles through there with parking on both sides.
I spoke with the owner, and the owner said they will not park on the other side. That
We did some in-depth research on this project. Chief Mike was down there today and measured, and I think with his measurements, he'd have about, if there was parking on both sides, about 18 to 24 inches per side. That would be best-case scenario if everybody parks where they're supposed to be, not big vehicles and stuff like that. I went down there too. There's 2 fire hydrants, one at Goddard, one about halfway down. It's on the residential side. I counted about 55 different apartments, so that's a lot of residents living in that area. God forbid if there was some sort of emergency or something where his big machinery needed to get down there, it might be an issue. In the past, we have done traffic orders, making it the roads one way in that particular area for events at McCaffrey's, so right next door. But
So your recommendation is to keep it parking on one side?
if they're not even asking for it,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a precedence we want to start with
Right.
changing.
Thank you. And the other thing is if they're required to have the water bill paid before this, I would, in my opinion, I think that if we approve this, they have to pay their water bill before the 8th.
Yeah, I would, why don't we make a motion to add to this, as the water bill is paid, must be paid before, or however you have to make that legal.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
First, thank you, officers, for checking into that. Hopefully, there'll be no issues with parking, and safety is the number one thing, so thank you for that. My only question is, would we hold a resident to the same standard as we are for a business in regards to not paying a water bill? Because we shouldn't cater to a business if they didn't pay the water bill compared
We
to a
don't issue
resident.
special event permits to residents.
So if they wanted to do a block party and they didn't pay the water bill, would you
We
okay that?
don't, we don't investigate that,
You don't investigate that?
but it is part of the ordinance regarding special
All
events.
right, well, since it's an ordinance, okay, go ahead. Ready for the vote?
And is that okay with the mover and supporter to add the part about paying the water bill by September 8th?
Yes.
Or it's denied?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, chiefs.
Okay.
All right, I call for the vote.
Okay. Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
No.
And Zor?
No.
Okay. And then the The other one is resolved that special event permit number 8 be approved for the 8 Side Summer Vibes Vendor Show event to be previously held on Saturday, August 17th, 2024, at 4232 Fort Street, is requesting to be moved to September 8th under the following conditions: that the applicant shall be responsible for cleanup of all debris associated with the event from surrounding properties, and that alcohol is not permitted.
I'll move for discussion.
I'll support.
Okay. So, Your Honor, if we
Yeah.
could just add the same condition
Yeah.
of the water bill being paid. Thank you.
That's okay with both the mover and supporter?
Yes.
Okay. Are we ready?
Hearing nothing, I'll call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilperson Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
No.
Zor?
No.
And Tobin.
Yes.
And with that, we will move to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates to provide for you. First, I know I'd sent an email out, but I wanted to let the residents know as well that the city's bond rating has been upgraded to a BBB positive, so that's a very good sign for us. We were previously a BB plus with a stable outlook. So we go through the reviews with S&P every 1 to 2 years, and for the last few years, we were quite positive we were going to get an upgrade, and unfortunately, we did not. So we were very disappointed. But this year, we got the positive news, so that's great for us. What that means now is that if we do have to bond the next time we sell our road bonds, we will now be considered investment grade. We're not at the highest level yet, so the interest rates are not the best, but a much improved process for us, so that's great news. The biggest contributor to that was the pension grant that we received from the state. Without that, our pensions have always been hanging over our heads, especially with S&P. They look at that very in-depth, and we had very low rated pensions previously, so we may even get another upgrade next year because the police and fire pension, once that full grant is recognized in there, that'll bring that portion of our fund balance and overall financial picture for the city back up to speed, so that's great news. Also, they look at things like the market conditions for housing, and we have had positive increases there, so they take that into account. They look at our overall financial picture for how the economy is doing in Lincoln Park, so the Sears development is actually working in our favor there as well. So a lot of good positive coming out of that, so I'm very happy about that. And then the animal shelter is now open. I know many people have got a chance to go over there, so take a look at the Facebook page. They have a lot of animals up for adoption. They're constantly updating that. They are still holding off for a little bit more on the cats. They're trying to get some supplies together, so they should be taking cats soon. And then the trash services, I know it's been a hot topic. We have seen some improvement there, quite a bit of improvement actually. We are still getting some missed pickup reports, but overall, the service, the call volume's been down and the service seems to be improving, so that's a step in the right direction. And that's all I have for tonight. I'll take any questions.
To the chair. Lisa, when it comes to priority waste, could you confirm the policy of if the trucks come there and there are cars or vehicles on the road, that their drivers are still obligated to do the pickups? Because I believe that's what Paul, a representative, stated when he was here, and I have heard from some residents that are being told differently by supervisors.
No, they should still be getting picked up, and I can address that with Paul just to make sure everybody's on the same page. We have had some of those reports as well with cars blocking it, but they are supposed to
And
to
they're
collect.
aware that we have set hours for
Yes.
when they're not supposed to, and it's not from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Correct, and they've actually been working extended hours the last few
Yes.
weeks. They are getting more and more trucks on the road. Today they had 7. As you recall, generally they like to have 8 for our route. That's what it calls for, so they had 7 today. So last week they were ranging from 6 to 7 per day. Some of them, of course, would break down during the day, but they're continuing to work through that process.
Okay. I was just concerned that this was coming from the supervisor level, because the workers are only going to do what they're being
Right.
told.
Yeah, I will address that
Okay.
with them tomorrow. Also, one more item on priorities, we are still working on the quote for the containers, so that's still a work in progress.
Through the chair?
Yes.
Lisa, I know that payment plans are available for residents on the water bill.
Yes.
Is this the same work for businesses?
Yes, we treat them all equally.
Okay, so,
The only difference is there are some businesses that are monthly billings.
oh, okay,
There's about 200 accounts, so it's not very many.
okay.
But yes, they still go through the same process as everyone else.
So if the 8th side were to do a payment plan, would that be considered,
Technically, if they make the requirements, because we always require a payment up front to go into a payment plan.
Okay.
So as long as they make that payment, we would technically consider them
current?
current.
Okay, thank you. And one more question, or actually, what I have is Congressman Tanadar requested the study session minutes for,
Yes, I sent those to him last week.
thank you.
He did say to reach out in January, so we will definitely do that. And we are looking at some other avenues as well for the funding of the water meters.
Okay.
But yes.
And then one more thing. Could we make it a policy that the chiefs look at the drawings on special event permits?
Yes.
They always do?
We supply it. We send them the whole packet.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
I think you send it to all the department heads, don't you?
I do. Well, police, fire, DPS, Parks and Rec, and then we walk it across
Treasury.
to Treasury and
Water.
Water.
Okay, well, I guess my concern is I want them to actually look at the drawings just to make sure, in case there are any concerns on their end, you know.
They have that information available to them. They should be looking at it.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair. Lisa, how are we doing on our open positions? DPS, CBDG?
Yes, so we are currently in the process we had 5 positions for DPS. We are going through the background and physical process for some of those. So we're working on those. We have 1 DPS part-timer as well that we're going through, it's going through the process right now. I believe a couple of them are ready to have gotten through the whole process and are ready to get a hire date. And then we have clerical positions that have been filled as well. We just got the last one back today on that one. So we're moving along with them.
To the chair, on the employment, how long did it take you to get these employees? These are the employees that we asked for in June, correct?
July, we had to wait till after the budget was passed.
So, and then we're just now getting employees?
Well, so we go through, we get the applications, and then we set them up for testing. So once the tests are finalized, if they've passed, then we move them on to the interview phase. So depending on schedules and getting everyone together for interviews, and we go through that process, decide who we want to offer the position to, and then go through the background. If the background comes back okay, then they go on to the physical.
Can't we shorten the process on this at all to allow for quicker hiring rather than taking this long?
Well, we have processes that we have to follow.
Okay.
And unfortunately, like sometimes going through the physical, sometimes there's health issues the doctor has to follow up with them on. So sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes it's 7 days. It just depends. There are some factors that are out of our control, but we don't sit on them. We're moving them along through the process.
I'll go with that for now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair, have
Yes.
we gotten any candidates for the CBDG?
We've gotten a few lately, but they were not qualified. So they didn't meet the minimum qualifications, so we are,
And where are we advertising?
we have it up through our internal process that we use, and it sends it out to various sites. So it goes on to like ZipRecruiter, all of the different hiring sites.
Okay. Just seems like there should be some, what, do you know why they're,
We had 2 great candidates and didn't make it through the entire process. Yeah, we actually had gone through everything, spent the money on all of the requirements that we go through, and then things fell through the crack.
okay.
Can we ask HUD to help us?
We've actually been looking at their job boards as well.
Just a thought, because we've been out without somebody
Yeah.
for a while now.
We do have the clerical employee in there now, so she's getting brought up to speed on some things. She's getting signed up for different HUD trainings. So she's, so far, she's doing well. She's been working with Doreen a little bit, and Lisa's come over and helped train her as well.
Thank goodness we have Doreen to
Yep.
hang
Yep.
on.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
Everybody's done. First, also the building department, you're still in search for a building department head,
Yes.
correct? Also, you mentioned processes, yes. On the side, I hope they pay their water bill so they can go on with their events that they're putting on. But, I don't want to set a precedent of businesses applying for permits and they didn't pay the electric bill, water bill, whatever. So, thank you, council, for bringing that up. I hope they pay their water bill. But my question is, I could easily call John Kazoo on this, but for the residents, are we trimming trees and doing sidewalks? Is that process started yet?
We're in the process of the sidewalk program right now, so there's various sidewalks that have been torn out, and they're replacing those. And then tree trimming started in July. Do you want to get up and speak, John?
I know we have a tree list.
Just to say that
Could you please stick to the microphone?
There's a residents who asked me about tree trimming, John, that's why I'm bringing it up. I could just call you, but I'd like you to tell the residents of Lincoln Park where we're at.
talked to the tree contractor today, and as I said before, they have other clients, but I did talk to them today, and they're scheduled to be in town starting Monday, this coming Monday.
Okay, so in regards to our contract with them, they come when they want to come, or do we call them? What's normal procedure?
As the city manager said earlier, we had to wait until July 1st for the new budget. Since then, we have been in contact with them. We've also had a meeting with them, and they've also got other clientele, and we knew that also, because they're not just working for us, but they are scheduled to come in this coming Monday.
All right, thank you, John.
To the chair.
That's all, Lisa, thank you.
Before he leaves. Don't leave yet. When you do the contract, is this all part of the contract?
Yes, sir, it is.
That they have their other customers and we're on the second burner when it comes to that?
I
Or
wouldn't necessarily put it that way. I put it as such that they're a good-sized tree contractor, and with what we provide them for an income, they couldn't support the entire staff that they carry. So yes, we know that they have other clients.
one other quick question, if I may.
Sure.
Do we have a process for roads that we can just replace roads at will, or?
Actually, I think probably before you came on board, the city, through our engineering firm, they went through and they graded all the roads, because there's a grading process, and they put together a 10-year road plan, and that 10-year road plan has been voted on by the mayor and council, and that's what we try to follow.
Do we have a list?
We do.
It's on the city's website.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question through the chair. So with the sidewalk program and the trees, the roots of the trees, I know that the contractors cut them down before they lay the new cement, so
Well, they remove portions of the roots prior to putting down the concrete. Yes, ma'am.
So if these roots are on our easement between the sidewalk and the street, and they are heading towards someone's driveway that meets the street, and it's lifting their driveway, whose responsibility is that? The residents of the cities?
Are we talking the driveway or the approach?
The approach at the street.
Right now, it's only set up for sidewalk, But I've looked at the logistics of it, and if it's remove, or if it's listing the approach, if it's too bad, yes, then we would incur that cost. That's my belief. But right now, it's actually for sidewalks only.
Okay. So if a resident has that issue where the root is getting at the curb and their driveway where it meets the street, and that root is starting to really mess up that corner, they should contact DPS and you could tell them what they should do?
I hope not to open up Pandora's box.
Right, I understand that, but at this point they don't know which way to go, so I'm trying to find information for them on what to do. It's bad, and they don't know what the responsibility it is.
If it's that bad, yes, I think the city should look at it.
Okay, I will have them contact you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything for the city manager?
To the chair,
Yes.
just a comment, I can attest, they replaced a couple of my sidewalk slabs, and I thought they did a very good job of grinding up the roots, and I was shocked at the diameter of the roots that was able to grow underneath the concrete. And I am confident that it will take many, many years, decades, for those roots to grow back.
Okay. With that, we will move on to our report from our librarian.
Hello. There's just going to provide a few quick updates regarding the library. Starting September 3rd, so the day after Labor Day, the library is expanding our hours. So we're now going to be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Another change that has come to the library is, as of last week, we have new shelving in our children's and adult section. Most of the shelving had been original to the building from 1951, so an update was needed. So we now have more storage space for our books, and I think that the shelving will make it more accessible and easier to locate books for all of our patrons. And then also, we do have another Friends of the Library book sale coming up. It's going to be October 5th through the 12th. So we are still accepting book donations for that until the end of September. We have a large black donation bin in our lobby, so books can be dropped off for donation anytime the library is open. And also, the Friends will have a preview night for the book sale on October 3rd. That's a Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Through the chair. We're closed on Friday then? And Sunday?
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you're doing over there. It is always amazing to walk in there and, new books, new everything. You keep it going. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if there's anybody who would like to address this body?
I'll go first. I gotta say anything special, or?
So just, you have to stay on city manners, please, and 5 minutes.
Sure. My name is Mike. I'm on New York and Wilson. To piggyback off the tree thing that you were discussing, I recently called I think it's DPS or whoever comes out and inspects to see if a tree needs to be removed. It is on the easement, the city easement, and it's right outside of my gate where I come in and out of my house. And the tree is so large that it is listing the cement, and the water's pooling at along my thing. You guys came out and tore the cement up and said that the tree does not need to be removed. It is leaning over the street to a point where if it fell down, it's falling across the street into the house across the street. Like I said, they have been tore up. I have pictures, but I forgot to bring them today. We just were in a hurry to get here, but it is listing over the street, and we were told that it doesn't need to be repaired or removed. But, I mean, the whole easement is tree, and we were told that we have to, since it's on your property and it's listing our cement, why are we responsible for the cement? That's my question.
That is city policy, it has been for 100 years. I would suggest that you leave your address with our DPS director so he can come by and personally check that tree out for me. And
I think I spoke to you on the phone to set it up, and you told me the tree and the cement are two different departments, and
I'll look at it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know who came out and looked at the tree or what, but I think the tree needs to be gone. And like, they stump grinded all the roots, and I mean, there's this much tree that you can see that they cut up against, like, they're gonna put cement off of the 10 inches that they stump grinded. So, yeah, if somebody wants to come by and look, I mean, so the policy is that we are responsible for half of that?
Yes.
And-
But if the tree did the damage to your sidewalk, then we do pay 50%.
That it did, yeah. I mean, they had to pull out 7 bricks, 7 slabs of cement.
Right.
I mean, so we're looking at $1,000 for a city tree. So I just think that's ridiculous. I think that's all I got on that, so I was piggybacking on that. And my other thing was about pickleball courts. I did read that there is some kind of plan in progress or something.
It is part of the 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan.
Okay, I would just wanted to mention the Council Park hockey rink.
Yes.
That cement there is prime spot for them. I don't know if that's where they are going or if they're going over by the community center over there.
We've got a couple of different ideas.
Okay.
It's still in the idea form right now.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to mention.
We are active looking for grants.
Okay, just mentioning Council Park because the cement's good. All you have to do is get nets and.
Yes, we're looking for a good idea for that cement, because obviously that we can't find, you can't get the parts to replace the hockey anymore, that's why it's the way it is.
The hockey.
And we can't take it down because it was federal money.
You can't take the boards down that are broken and.
Because it's federal money.
Add it up with spray paint.
We're between a rock and a hard place until we can figure out what we can do with it. We have our Parks and Rec director is working hard on that one. That's something that he has talked to me about several times.
Okay, cool, that's all I got, thank you.
What was your corner? New York and what?
Wilson.
Thank you.
A young lady in the back?
I'm Nancy Palomino and would like to request for 1303, the road to be repaired. I did bring some pictures. They have come out and filled the potholes, but it's beyond. They just keep coming back and back. I don't know if you would like to see the pictures.
We could hand the pictures over to Councilman Jason.
And what street?
1303 Morris, between Fort Park and 4th Street. And I was told to come here and that I had a possibility for it to be repaired.
Okay.
That's all I have.
We'll turn over to our DPS and see what we can do.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, City Council.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Mr. Disrespectful because, like I said before, this council chamber doesn't treat the citizens of Lincoln Park properly. And I don't mean to be disrespectful and point people out, but I'd like to know who is the liaison for the Lincoln Park Pride office. See, I mean, these aren't tough questions. It's an easy question. Who is the liaison for the Lincoln Park Pride?
There isn't one.
There is no more liaison for any of these departments anymore.
For the departments, yes, but not for that, directly to that department.
Well, who is responsible for that department then? Not a tough question.
That would be for the building department.
Okay then.
So, this is the building department, I have a question for him. When the citizen makes a complaint about any violations, how long does it take for an ordinance officer to respond? Is there any rules, regulations for a time limit for him to go out there and respond to this? Like I said, they're not hard questions, not hard questions.
It's typically the next business day,
The next business day, right?
typically.
Okay. Now, when I called over a year about those cars and that lot, over a year ago, when does the clock start for that violation? Because the reason why I'm asking is, according to your ordinance officers, your rules, it says here, if a violation occurs more often for 6 months, there's supposed to be a penalty occurred at $250. But hold on, it's not just for that car, it's for every incident for that area. So if he had 6 cars, that's 6 violations at $250. So they came out to like $1,500 for the 6 months. But hold on, because now, if it prolongs it even further and carries it out for a year, now that fine doubles. And it also doubles per infraction. So that means if he has 6 cars on there again, it's $3,000. So far, the city's lost $4,500 over that fiscal year because nobody failed to do their job. Then you wonder why I'm up here wondering my tax dollars are being wasted. And then you look around at me like I'm a fool. No, I'm not a fool. I'm a taxpayer wanting to make and hope you justify me what's going on with this city and how it's being squandered. Because not only that, according to the city sidewalk in this ordinance, like you want to talk about, there's 2 rules and regulations that require the sidewalks have to be fixed a certain way. Now, those sidewalks, according to Title II of the ADA, state, local, and government municipalities, you have 2 rules to follow to make a ramp handicap. It's either the USAF or the standard by the American Disabilities Act. Now, you have ramps out there with 2 different styles, and according to federal law, you can only use 1 style, not 2. It's against the law to use 2. I've looked it up federally. I'm not here blowing smoke. So when you woke me up, you woke me up. So when you come on my property and violate me 4 times for logs on the ground, which never occurred, then each time you come out there, you want to add some other violation and some other violation? I think that was very rude of you guys to use your job as vindictiveness, because every time I called, you failed to do your job. And the last time I called this week, there was a car in a lot. I called the parking authority. Now, this is the other problem I'm having. I said, there's a car parked in a lot. They said, it's the police department's fault. Well, when I called the police department, I spoke to Mr. Manchester. He explained to me that when a car is on the street, it's the police responsibility. But when the car is on the lawn or in a private lot, it's the Lincoln Park's pride. I don't understand that ruling. How is that? And not only that, though, then it also states in your charters that after 7 p.m., no construction vehicles should be parked on the city streets or on residential neighborhoods. So who's enforcing those laws when the Lincoln Park Pride officer goes home? Now, I got insomnia. I sit back home and I listen to these police radio calls. I don't hear very much going on in the Lincoln Park City Police Departments. I'm not trying to disperse them. But I'm sure that they can sit around and drive around and not waste my gas and give violations to these construction cars that are parking illegally on city streets. And then you wonder why our streets are in bad shape. And to point something out, I have a list. I'm not demanding anything with this list, but because when I called the Lincoln Park Pride officer, she disrespected me. Because when I tried to point that issue out about the car being on the lawn or the street, she didn't give me time to say anything, and she just hung up on me. And I called the city manager. She spoke to her. She's, oh. So I'm not trying to give you a list of demands. I don't want to call her and think her job is too hard for me to turn on and talk to. So here's a list of violations. Now, since I've handed you tonight, you said it takes 24 hours to start answering these violations. So I hope these will be addressed. And So remember, when my tax dollars being squandered, when I lost $3,500 on the issue that the city didn't follow through because that car was parked on those lawns for more than a year, and there was at least 6 of them. So think about how my tax dollars are being wasted. And if you want, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Have a nice day, everybody.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. I'll try not to be disrespectful. Who was on the Charter Review Committee? You mentioned it, and I don't even know who was on it.
City Clerk, could you give us the rundown on who was on it?
Sure, it was myself, the mayor, Councilman Bear, Tom Carnes, Kathy Carter, Kathy Caesar, and Michael Berrigan.
7 people?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm glad you approved the used auto dealer's license for Ruby Recycling without dissent. I hope you took the advice of the city attorney at the last meeting. We're only talking about a used auto dealer license. When you start denying permits and licenses for peripheral reasons, you end up getting sued. So give them the used auto dealer license, and any other issues you have, deal with them as a separate issue, which is what I'm hoping you're going to do. I'm sorry, I got confused on this A-side wrestling. What was the scheduled date of the event?
September 22nd.
22nd? And when do they have to pay the water bill by?
The 8th is
The 8th? Very good.
That's actually a Sunday, so. No, that's Thursday. Sorry.
That's fine. As long as you give them some time so they don't spend a lot of money, getting everything ready and then find out that they're denied because they didn't pay the water bill. Thank you so much.
And since it was mentioned, I will say this, because I know there are people who have been paying attention to the Rudy Recycling Program, and they have been notified by the city certain things that we are wanting to be taken care of and being taken care of immediately. So they are aware of what the city wants. I'll put it that way. Does anybody else like to see the city? Come forward.
Kelsey.
Pray for me. Well, I hope I'm not the third person that comes up here and rattles the cage. First of all, I'd like to say that Hands of the City, thank you for letting me win that item for my wife. She's very happy and she won't let it go, so I'm in good graces for that. Cost me a little bit of money, but it was worth it. Couple questions I got, and I probably know the answers because I was up there for a long time. It's kind of weird to me that I walk around my neighborhood and I see a lot of ordinance violations week after week after week after week, and I can go on and on with this. I never see the ordinance officer come down and put the thing on the house because I walk by the house. So today, I took matters in my own hand and I called and left a message for the code enforcement officer. That's one of my concerns. I thought the new policy, when John Myers was here, is that we're going to be proactive, and we were going to assign the code officers to an area to drive through so we weren't reactive. Now, I don't know if that's changed. Maybe it has. But I like to see the code officer drive through. I mean, if I can see it, you can't miss it. I'm telling you. I don't care. Unless you're looking straight ahead, and God bless you, you don't want to wreck your car. But if you look right or left, you can see the items. I mean, it's not hard to look at. Grass and a broken garage door is not something that doesn't stick out. One other item I'd like to talk to is that driving down, and let me paraphrase this first to say that I've talked to the police chief before about an issue that was not taken care of by the parking enforcement. He took care of it for me. But that was another issue that was sitting a car on the lawn for like 8 weeks, and they didn't, every garbage week it sat on the lawn. And the reason I know that, I walked past the car. And thanks to the police chief, he sent somebody over there and they finally got off the lawn, okay?
The last item I'd like to talk about is the fact that going down Ford Street, near the Dairy Queen, and all you live in Lincoln Park, just like I do, and we all travel Ford Street, if you look on the right-hand side, I see cars parked on the, if you want to call it the easement, in front of the building, in front of the business, a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk in front of a business. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Now, unless you're blind going down 4th Street, and I don't be smart about that, you can't miss it. And every time I go down there from here to my home on Riverbank, you can see it during the day every time. You can't miss it. So I'm confused about if the officers, and again, the police chief was real good. I didn't talk to him about this, but my question is, why do I have to call the department heads to complain about something that the employees are obligated and supposed to do? I mean, I know that the council, we gave them laptops, we gave them new vehicles, we gave them education, we took them in and talked about the code enforcement rules because it was a little lax when I was up there, we were up there. So I guess I don't want to do somebody's job, and that's fine. If I have to, I'll do it. But that means I'll be calling somebody every day 3 or 4 times to different issues. I don't think you want me doing that. I mean, I know you love me, but I don't think you want me calling all the time. But my whole point of it is that it makes the neighborhood look like crap. The city looks like crap. And it's the same issue that we, or most of us anyways, including myself, for 8 years worked on, and I'm here 8 years, 10 years later, and I'm still talking about the same thing. Now, somebody's not doing their job, and I don't mean the fact that the department, maybe we need to come to council meeting, okay, and ask the employees, is there a problem? Maybe you need more equipment, more time, more employees, I don't know. But it behaves me, the city's 5 square miles, that we have this issue in the city. And my only concern is that I'd like to see it addressed somehow, okay? And like I said before, this was supposed to be taken care of a long time ago, okay? And I'm standing here today, 10 years later, and I'm complaining about the same issue we started out 10 years ago. And fortunately for me is that I tend to go up north a lot, so I don't really bother you because I'm when I come back, but it bothers me when I have to walk in my neighborhood and I see the same violations or the same issues week after week after week after week. And I don't mind once or 2 weeks. I mean, you know, everybody has a bad, and you're going on vacation, I know that. But when I see it, it's not hard for somebody who supposedly is supposed to go through the areas. Thank you, I think I'm up. Thank you again.
Timed it just right.
Yeah.
I will say that since this mayor and council took place, we have doubled the amount of ordinance officers, and under John, he did realign the whole program, and we are set up differently. There are some things, but we always need hands. We always need help from a citizen who could let us know, because they don't see everything. They should see more. Everybody thinks they should. But so if there are citizens out there who have seen something, who need to turn it in, please do so, because you are the eyes and the ears of the city. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi. Good evening, council. It's good to see you all. Thankful for another day. I had a couple issues I wanted to bring up. I want to thank the city manager and John getting my lawn done this past week. So thank you very much. Glad it got done. There was a couple other issues brought up last week about this recycle place on Dix you guys are even talking about tonight. And it was also brought up, John had brought up the fact that there's a lot of water leakage that is going on in the city in different areas, and they're trying to scope out and find where's what and everything. I'm wondering about that company on Dix. What chemicals and everything that could be seeping into the ground that could possibly get mixed up with water lines or whatever the case may be. I know nothing about it. I just know it's been a current issue. So you guys being the leaders of our city, great city here, It's something to look into. You did say it would be brought up as separate matters, so that was the answer to that, it was brought up. Another issue I wanted to bring up was the water mains that were installed last year. There was a gentleman that spoke, I don't know if it was the same guy that was here, about water being spouted out somewhere, and it was addressed to you guys, and you said that it was paid for. And he had asked, well, how do they pay for it if you don't know how much was wasted? It made me have the same question, because last year, which Maureen worked hard on, there was a water leak that went on for 2 weeks. And it was brought up by Maureen, and somebody said, well, it's paid for. So I was, maybe you could, for transparency, explain that to us. And there was one other important question I have, is being the first installment of tax time. I noticed there was a line item fee that was referred to as a lawsuit recovery.
Correct.
So, okay, I tried to get some explanation from different people, but maybe you could explain it to the public, is what was the difference between the two lawsuits? And now that the lawsuit is over, isn't it due for the cause of transparency that you're able to talk about? And who was the judge that signed the final thing on that, to where now you have this class action lawsuit, now all of a sudden you're forcing everybody to pay the recovery fee? What was the difference, and how did that come about? What law? Maybe you could explain it to the public, because there's a lot of us like to know.
It's simple that a judge, when they make the verdict on a lawsuit like that, they can tell you the city has to pay for it, and then we have to decide how to pay for it. In this particular case, the judge said it has to go on your taxes. So that is what it did.
And who was the judge?
Call his name off the top of my head.
There's some of us kind of curious on how they were able to settle it that way and impose it on us taxpayers compared to the last lawsuit. You know, something don't sound right, folks. So if there are any questions I ask and explain, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Is there anybody else like to talk to this body? Hearing none, we'll go to the council president.
Thank you. I think Mr. Watson was referring to the gentleman that at Sears, they had the fire hydrant was going, right? Remember? That's what he was talking about.
I have one more thing. Might have one more minute left. I also wanted to publicly say, Carlos, I was just cracking a joke with you last week.
I guess.
I didn't mean to offend you. I know your feelings were hurt, and
Thank you. I'm glad your yard got fixed. So, by the way, I think you were talking about the water main at the Sears complex. They had the fire hydrant going on for a while, and that was brought up. So, but anyway, all I have tonight is happy Labor Day, everybody. Stay cool if you can. Fall is behind us, but you would never know it. So just be safe. The kids are going back to school soon, so look out for them. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Tracy?
I hope everyone got to go out to Lincoln Park Days and enjoyed the events, other events in the city. There was a very busy weekend. Please consider adopting from our animal shelter. There's some beautiful animals there. And I'll second what Councilman Carlos had said. It's hot out there, so please stay cool and take care of yourselves. Check on your older neighbors, and good night and God bless.
So I've got a couple of announcements to make. Our officers Mandernack and Graytop were awarded a life-saving certificate, and Officer Chambers was awarded Officer of the Month. Officers Tibbs and Parker received a certificate of merit. Officers Latest, Dominique, Graytop, and Beatty received letters of commendation. There's a police Okay, I'm going to say this wrong. I do it every time. Make Police Night in September, on September 17th from 4 to 7 at the McDonald's on Goddard and Ford Street, so make sure you come out there. The police will be working, they'll be cooking food and serving customers, and a portion of the funds will be going to the policing, community policing. And Coffee with a Cop on September 23rd from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. at the Dix and Philomene McDonald's. I think that there's going to be an ice cream social coming up soon too, so you guys want to do that because who doesn't like ice cream? And I got to tell you, I am so happy that the front of City Hall looks so much better. It is amazing to drive down Southfield now. It's like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Big thank you to DDA for
Yes,
paying.
thank you. Now, if we can get something done with the awning, it would be great. So, Lincoln Park Days went really well. It was quite the week for the Exchange Club. We're all really tired, but we're real happy. The vendors were happy. The food was good. The music was good. The attendance was good. We love doing this for the community. We love seeing the community come out, and it's just a really good time. And I got to tell you, the kids this year were fabulous. They had so much fun. I mean, it's just amazing to see those kids that happy. So it's a good thing for our community. The kids are back in school, so be safe. And this Thursday is the final concert of the year. So the Doors Tribute will be out there. Make sure you come out for the last concert. And everybody enjoy your Labor Day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody.
Councilman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Talk about happy kids. We need to thank, I want to thank our police department for their backpack giveaway. They've got pictures on their Facebook. Did you see the pictures of the kids' big smiles? They do a wonderful job with that. And with that,
And can I interrupt you for just a minute? Because the backpack was really good, and I really want to thank the police for that, and I should have said something earlier. But I also want to thank Councilwoman Ross, because she got together with the Kiwanis, and she arranged a book giveaway with the backpacks, and I just want to thank her for that. That was just amazing.
thank you. That is certainly another labor of love. The police department has been very gracious in allowing me on behalf of Kiwanis to be there during their backpack giveaway. Kiwanis this year donated 239 books for the kids, and I need to say a very special thank you to a young lady named Sam. She is a high school senior this year, and she showed up with her dad. You might know him, Paul. He was there to help direct traffic, and she heard about the backpack giveaway and the books for kids, and she told her dad, I'm going and I'm going to go help. So I thought that was beautiful, so thank you, Sam. And then, of course, I need to thank my family, because without them, I couldn't do it. There's so much involved, behind the scenes that, you don't see. You see me there with the big table, and us all handing out books, but there's way more to it than that. So I need to thank my husband, Carlos, my sons, Tony and Andy, and I need to thank Renee and Jake, who made this possible. We'll move on to Wayne County's Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day. It's August 31st from 8 to 1, and that will be at the Westland Shopping Center. I want to get you all excited for the MC5 celebration that the city has planned. I'll start off with saying that the museum has their newsletter out, and all this information you will find in their newsletter, of course, with a whole lot more. But I do want to touch on the fact that the MC5 were born and raised here in Lincoln Park. They're Lincoln Park High School graduates, and they are going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Saturday, October the 19th. However, on Saturday, October the 12th, will be our big celebration here in Lincoln Park at the band shell. So if you will allow me, I there's just so much that's going to happen, and I know that it'll get you all excited. It will. The community of Lincoln Park will gather at our Memorial Park Bandshell to celebrate this landmark in rock and roll history, with activities set to begin at 3. There'll be DJ Soul Deep will kick off the festivities. The celebration will include friends and families of the band and the dedication of a tree next to the bandshell where the MC5 performed in their early years together. A declaration of the special day and presentation by the City of Lincoln Park leads off the official proceedings. And there is certainly a lot more in the newsletter, so you can find that at www.lphistorical.org. I do want to mention that the Parks and Rec Department is having a music bingo event on Friday, September the 13th, and that will be at the bandshell. I wanted to touch on the Coffee with a Cop that our police department is hosting at the 2106 Dix Highway on September 23rd. Because this is what the flyer reads, and it's perfect. It says, no agenda, no speeches, just a chance to ask questions, voice concerns, and get to know your Lincoln Park officers. How cool is that? And then you probably already got the happenings. So go through that. There's a lot of information, and of course a lot of the events are in there. And with that, have a great holiday. There's still time for you to plan your garage sale, as Lincoln Park is having their citywide garage sales on September the 13th through the 15th. And with that, I want to thank Amy Higgins for sitting in for our city attorney today. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you.
We'll move on to Councilman Bear.
Hi, hard to believe it, we did, our grand opening for Animal Shelter was exactly 1 week ago from today. It is a truly fantastic shelter and new offering that we can give to our residents, and they are very excited about it. And once again, to touch on Lincoln Park Days, just like to thank Maureen and the Exchange Club. I don't know if people realize just what a gigantic undertaking it is to pull off a full 3-day event like this. It takes an army of volunteers to do so. And for some of you that might not be aware, former Mayor Tom Carnes is also very heavily involved in planning Lincoln Park Days. It was our police department that was there, the community police officers were there, the CERT volunteers were there, so there was lots of volunteers and officers to make sure that everyone had a great time, but did it safely again. So I was there all 3 days with the Hands of the City, and it was a really great time, lots of happy faces, and that's all I have. Happy Labor Day, and have a great evening, everyone.
Alderman Zor.
Just want to say that the Wednesday after Labor Day will be first day of school for the school kids. Please be aware that the kids will be going back and forth to school. Well, not all the street lights have crossing guards, or stop signs. So always pay attention. The other thing is the Wayne County Executive Deputy issued a heat advisory for tomorrow with the slight risk of severe storm, so I wanted to pass that on as well. With that, thank you for everything.
Again, I repeat, it's already been said several times, but I neglected to say it earlier. I forgot my notes in the office this week. The animal shelter is open. It is beautiful, and it is something that we've worked on for a very long time. So,
Where is that at?
500 Russell.
Where's that
At Lejeune and Russell, right where that comes together.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and with that, I'll move for adjourn.
Support.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Thank you.